Your mind plays tricks on you sometimes.
I always strive to be better than the man I was the day before.
You can't fix something that you can't even admit to.
And really ask the question. Don't run away from it.
Leave your ego at home, bro. Put your ego to one side.
I'd go on a walk. It starts with the anger. Just get out and be like, why am I angry?
It doesn't matter now, it's about how I'm going to improve.
Making a self-care, self-love.
A lot of people like to suppress it, right?
Are you stressed? Are you frustrated? What happened to you? Are you okay?
Alright, cool. Another day, another discussion. We're back today with a very special guest. Arguably the best guest we've ever had on Good Vibes Only. Camera on you, David the Tool is back.
Honestly, I just talk shit. I don't even no, I'm honoured to be here and I'm really happy to, I guess, spit some more truth, I suppose.
Fam, last time, if you lot have seen it, this guy, how he articulates himself, the authenticity, the genuine, you know, I gassed you up last time, I have to come again, innit, because I love just how this guy carries himself. So I left a very big, deep, meaningful topic for Tulu today. We're gonna look into it slowly, and yeah, debunk this, you know, as best as we can.
I can only hope to rise to the occasion.
And there's no pressure here. We're all relaxed, cool. So it's just kind of involving like the brain, you know, how we think, you know, our mind. I feel like there's not really a lot of emphasis on the importance of how we think, right? And, you know, the well-being of our mind, our mentals. You know, if you see someone fat, or, you know, work out, you know, lose weight physically, you're not really healthy, obese. But there's no emphasis on if your brain's rotten, you know, the way you think, how you articulate yourself. There's not really emphasis on that. So I kind of want to look into that today. Yeah, so Tula, I don't think us as a generation understand the effects of dealing with like previous problems, you know, we could possibly say trauma. I know I touched upon that before. Just any sort of hardship, you know, mentally wise, you know. I just think about, you know, our brains are like tape recorders. So we're seeing so much different things every day. We're taking it in. But I don't think we really address the problems, right? The difficult moments. And I feel like this can have a lot of effects mentally. You know, obviously we know mental health is very, very common. It's like you're surprised that someone hasn't got a mental health thing. What would you say about that? You know, the importance of addressing difficult hardships that you experience, you know, in your mind?
I think it's definitely an important area to address. I mean, like, the fact that you've gone through this hard, difficult situation, right? This trauma of the mind. You need to actually, I think the society, one of its major flaws is that everyone is trying to hustle, right? And that's not a bad thing. It's never a bad thing to hustle. But there's always a time and a place for everything, right? I feel like everyone prioritizes hustling, working.
But neglect like self-love.
They're gonna self-care, self-love.
Yeah.
Self-reflection. And when you have trauma and you experience it, like you said, we're like tape recorders. We go through so much, we experience and take in so much. But if you don't sit down and conciliate, or, you know, kind of recapitulate your thoughts,
and kind of just reflect and say like, you know, why did this happen? Or did I really, you know, some people experience things and after they were like, I didn't actually like how this happened.
Yeah.
Do you understand? But it might take them a few times. They don't really realize it in the moment. Like, if I ask yourself now, how do you normally deal with these things? I know we spoke before, we have quite a similar way of that. What would you say about that? So,
regarding how to deal with that, usually it is going to be like, maybe at stupid o'clock, because, you know, I sleep well. Basically, just in the middle of the darkness, just in my living room, just sit down and think. Ask yourself how the day went. And really ask the question. Don't run away from it. Like, genuinely ask, did you enjoy what you did today? Do you feel like you fulfilled your goals and your kind of missions for your operation? I say operation, I'm being too formal. I mean, like, your activity, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you gave your best? Did you enjoy it? What could be improved? What could be done better? By taking these kind of steps and to think about what you've experienced and how it's impacted you, you're better positioned to change the future. So it's better, and only in the upward direction.
Yeah, from what it sounds like, it's very similar to me. It's kind of like that active learning style where you say, okay, cool, this event happened. Let's just look into it a bit more. Let's understand. And a lot of people like to suppress it, right? Yeah. Let's not think about it. Let's out of mind, out of sight.
Yeah.
What do you think? And I know we're both against this, but what do you think's like the effect of that, right? Because
well,
it comes back to bite you in the end, right?
Yeah, usually it's explosion. Usually you just explode, right? When you're angry and you bottle it up.
So much bottled up mentally, yeah. Continue,
I mean, like, literally, like, it's all bottled up as in there and stuff. If you don't use it as a, get it out of you, it will get out at some point, right?
Yeah.
And it could be you just lashing out at family members, right? Who didn't do anything to warrant that kind of anger, but there you are.
That deflection, sort of.
Precisely.
You hear it a lot. People experiencing some sort of emotion and they deflect even unconsciously on other people, right?
Exactly.
Their anger or they're very intense, and other people feel the wrath of that.
Precisely.
Completely agree. Yeah.
Like, I remember, like, when I'm at home and I don't know, my parents come from a stressful day and they start shouting at me and stuff as well. Not that they're bad people or anything. It's just that, they could be angry, something could have frustrated them or something of the sort. I don't necessarily reply to them. I just stay silent. And I look at them. I read what their body's telling me, because your body language speaks first before your words.
Completely agree. Yeah.
And then you can see it, exactly what's happening to them. And then you can actually ask the question, are you stressed? Are you frustrated? What happened today? Are you okay? Once you start taking the deeper meaning of the words and seeing the intention behind it, you lose this kind of kiddie kind of mentality of trying to bite back at the other person. Like, oh, they insult me, so I have to insult them.
Definitely. Fire with fire, yeah. Just make things worse.
As opposed to just solving the problem, being like, wait, something's not right here. Why? What's going on?
So how you think is very like similar to me, and we can touch upon that. Very like methodological. How you say that?
Methodical.
Yeah, it's like facade. Yeah, back to those words. But yeah, exactly like that, in a very logical process where we're thinking, cool, this has happened. I can see someone's experienced this sort of thing. How can we address it? Yeah. You're not really going in tune with your emotions and fighting back and saying, oh, they're angry, let me do that. What good is that? Do you understand? Yeah. Active learning in terms of progressing and solving a dilemma or even an issue.
Precisely.
It doesn't really get you anywhere. So
do you know what? That's a place I still need to actually improve on. I mean, like, I still struggle. Like, I'm no one's perfect, right? I mean,
completely agree. Yeah.
And I spend a lot of time nowadays trying to just take a step back and not really reacting, but just trying to be like, well, I don't understand where you're coming from, or like, I want to understand, I want to do better. And maybe it's just my ethos. I always say to my friends and stuff that I always strive to be better than the man I was the day before, because it's
completely
so
agree.
important.
Even me with the things I post, are you stronger than you were yesterday?
Yeah.
We're exactly the same in that. That's why I had to bring you through for this one. I just completely agree, man. If we touch back on that, like, if I look at myself now, and I know you can jump in at any moment, because I think we have very similar ways of dealing with things. For me, if I've experienced something difficult, I'll just take a moment in it. It can be anywhere, even like I just shut the door, go in my room, just breathe in it.
Yeah.
I just sit there, I breathe. I'm like, okay, so I can't really, in this situation, this environment, I can't think straight. So let me just take myself out of a situation. It might be go in the garden, it might be just, make sure I'm alone. Cool, I'm there now. Just relax, even massage my mind here. Just breathe and say, okay, so what happened? Why am I feeling this certain way? So I might feel anxious. Why am I feeling anxious? Okay, I'm feeling anxious because, I'm unsure of the future. I'm not, I want this to work out a certain way, right? I want this to represent me as fully as I can. I want to make the correct decisions. I want to be true to myself. I'm sitting here and I think now, okay, so what can I do in this moment, right? What can I do to better myself, to ensure that I do the best, and when that time comes, I'm in the best position I can? Well, maybe I can plan for something, maybe I can, and most times it's just irrational thinking. It's like, as I said to you earlier, imposter syndrome. Like, I might question, am I good enough to do something? Well, if I've done it before, and if it's, I felt like it's gone really well, and I watch it, or even a podcast, I watch back and say, that was, I was speaking some good things there, then I know I'm good enough. It's not about what anyone else says. It's just your mind plays tricks on you sometimes, and this is what I want to kind of touch upon.
It's true. I mean, like, I don't know. You mentioned something really good, actually. Taking yourself out of the environment. If you're not really in a position to think well, and, maybe you're stressed out, maybe, someone said something to you, or, your family members, as all families will experience, get on your nerves.
Yeah.
it may be to your advantage just to get yourself out of that situation. You mentioned going to your room. My method is similar, but I take a walk. And usually, how it starts is, of course, you're still angry, right? Say someone insulted you and it really hurt you personally. You'd be angry.
Yeah.
So when I go on my walks, right, and I'm angry, I'd go on a walk, and it starts with the anger, but I just get it out and be like, why am I angry? Because this and this and this. Because of this reason, because this person said this to me, and stuff of the sort. But then I go deeper. So, whenever I introspect, I do this thing where I ask myself, why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? Now, it's so easy for us to blame other people. To blame other situations. That
Look elsewhere, isn't it?
Exactly. Make someone else the villain of your story.
Victim blaming.
Victim blaming.
Yeah.
But I feel like the more effective solutions is to understand, no, they're not the problem. It's how I react to them that's the problem. Why am I reacting this way? Put yourself as the subject of the thought process as opposed to everyone else, and you will find that you can find the thing that's actually stopping you or impeding your ability to stay calm.
Completely agree. I just think it's the importance of introspection. A lot of people don't really look inside themselves and ask themselves these difficult, very touchy questions where they're like, leave your ego at home, bro. Put your ego to one side and say, like, for me to be better, I might have to admit that I made a mistake here, or I'm not, best suited for this, and it doesn't matter now. It's about how I'm going to improve. And with us two, we're very we leave our egos to one side and say, okay, cool, we've made a mistake. We're not the best at this, but we're gonna be better. And this is the underlining feeling of self-improvement, and knowing that once you admit, you can't know there's something wrong, or you can't fix something that you can't even admit to being wrong or problem, sort of. See what I mean? A lot of people, as we said, link back victim blaming. So, they did this to me, so I should feel like this. Okay, so then you agree with that?
Yeah, see, that's exactly the problem, right? The moment you start victim blaming, you're obviously going to agree with yourself. So you're obviously going to be like, oh yeah, they're the bad guy.
It kind of just puts your mind at ease. You just feel like, I have a reason for this now. I can feel this certain way. I'm excused.
Precisely. But instead of, again, don't run from the questions. Ask yourself the deeper questions. Why? Is there something wrong with me? Did I sleep well? I find that when I get really angry at people, it's most commonly associated to when I get less than my preferred hours of sleep, which is 8 to 9 hours.
Yeah.
My life sleeping.
Yeah.
So that's what I tend to find. But then I also do something else. I don't know if you do this too. When I go on my walks and I start with anger, like I already said, and I get that out and I introspect whilst walking, I also start saying or thinking about what I'm thankful for.
Gratitude.
Gratitude is really, really, really powerful because, just being grateful for what you have around you, well, one, makes you realize you're privileged. How privileged you are that you are still even alive. And two, the fact that, yes, they annoy you. The people who've annoy you, but if they're close to you, if they're your friends, your family, they are also very important to you.
Definitely.
So it allows you to get away from just I'm hurt, I want to be defensive, I want to fight everyone. And then that allows you to see the bigger picture, which is what we all need to do. That's the goal of introspection.
Completely agree. And we're going to touch upon meditation as well, possibly in a bit. I was going to say self-improvement, the gratitude training. I'm going to talk about gym. I'm going to talk about these few things in a podcast soon come. Self-improvement for you young boys out there. So exactly what Atulu touched upon, and we'll probably look into it a bit more. You need to be very grateful and level-headed and saying yes, this is a difficult time. This is something this emotional state which I don't like. I'm not myself. I'm not processing effectively in the state. But I'm very grateful for these things that I have, and that's very, very important.